This is Rashekar Ramalingam. I welcome you all to my YouTube channel. This is my first video, so just forgive me if I do something wrong or unable to explain certain things. Here in this video, we have full stack development, which is the front end using ReactJs and the back end using Spring Boot, and how we can connect these two walls. We can connect this using OAuth2. Let's give an overview of what this two framework and how we can connect this two using OAuth2. Let me explain each of the components. The first component is ReactJs. It is a component based framework where you can create multiple single based basic components where the framework takes care of you and creates a complex UI for you. You don't need to create a complex UI. The framework itself will create for you. You just need to create a simple component, simple UI component, and the component will be integrated into a complex component using React.js. And why we are using React.js other than other frameworks like Angular out there. I'll explain this in a moment. So React.js has two properties, which is React.js state and React.js props. We'll go through each one of them and explain why you need to use these things. React.js state. State is nothing but a data store. If you come from Java background or any other background, you will know a state can be anything, a name, an email, a phone number, or anything. Same like here, it's just a data store for the component. Any changes in the clicking button or asynchronous call, any changes in the state which will reflect in the UI. This is one of the key features why most of the developers out there using React.js in the UI component in the world today. Let's see. If you have the entire UI and you have only minimal change or you have changed the data, React.js is smart enough to detect those changes and will update only those particular changes in the UI without refreshing the entire part of the UI. For example, if you set a state like show technologies false and anywhere in the code you set this code as show technologies as true, it will dynamically change the value in the UI, that particular value, rather than refreshing the whole div, rather than refreshing the whole state. It is smart enough to find out which is changes and which are affected by these changes, and it will change those things only rather than updating entire div or entire style, which makes it most loud developer framework in the world for front end. Let's go through what is React.js props. React.js props is usually send data to components. Like in the function, it's a pure JavaScript functions which has like you can pass the props from like a parameter. You can say this is as a parameter. You can pass the parameter from one function to another function. In the parameter, the receiving function will receive it and process it as it wish. Same like here, props will act as a parameter, but rather than function, it acts as here as a component. A parent component can send props to the child component, where the child component processes the props and uses those values in the child component. Here it is a child component where the parent component sends logo URL and the child component receives and processes it here. So these are the two important points in React.js, and let's go through what is Spring Boot, the backend. Spring Boot is and Spring Framework is one of the widely used backend system in the world, and most of the departments and most of the technologies in the world uses techno companies uses Spring Boot as a backend. This is because it is secure and it is widely used contributor by most of the open sourced framework out there today. So what is so special about this Spring Boot? Spring Boot creates a production grade Spring framework just a minute. If you tell this a couple of years ago, no one will believe you. But now things have changed. You can just in a minute you can create a production grade application using Spring Boot. It has all this component inside and your job is just configure. Let's go through each one of this individual component later. I just give you the overview now. So it has embedded Tomcat and JT and Underflow, anything you can. It's open internet framework where you can integrate it with any other third-party libraries which you have. It has seamlessly integrates with those libraries like Hibernate and all those things. And security OAuth2. If you take OAuth2, we are using in our life daily the OAuth2 framework. If you log into the Gmail using username and password, if you log into the Facebook using username and password, it is nothing but an OAuth2 authorization framework. Spring Security is secure enough to use this OAuth2 in its framework, and it is widely used as an authorization framework. It has authorization code, authorization password as a grant type, and etc. And client ID, client secret, will go through this. What is this in the upcoming? So this is the basic overview picture. Client, nothing but a React.js. Server, nothing but a Spring Boot. In the Spring Boot, it has two components, resource server and authorization server. The client React.js uses Axios as an Ajax tool to send authorization requests to resource owner, which is nothing but an authorization server. The authorization receives the username and password access token, whatever we have provided over the Sure, grant type as a password, client ID, client secret, these things you need to pass in the first request. And the authorization is smart enough to find out using its database and who you and what role you have. It gives you the access token based on that. Once the client React.js receives the access token, it again sends an AJAX request to the resource server where it verifies the access token and send you the protected resources in a JSON format which you have requested. And this is the overview of the backend, frontend, and the middle layer of OAuth2. We'll go through deeply and widely and step-by-step process in the upcoming videos. Thank you all. Please subscribe. Please click the like button. Thank you.